Rams house, you were not dreaming yesterday. Myles Garrett is a Los Angeles Ram. Absolutely great news for this team. And on today's episode of the Rams Report, presented by Prize Picks, we're going to talk about what I think is the biggest key to making the Garrett trade happen. And I'm not going to lie to you, initially, they're going to seem like entirely unrelated decisions. They are going to seem like two things that have nothing to do with one another. But by the end of today's show, I promise you, Ramley, you will see the connection. You will understand exactly how these two decisions are perfectly intertwined, how they go together so well. And you know what else goes together so well, my friends? You and our brand new Flash t-shirt. We've got brand new Flash merch, guys. That's right. Our merch team is that good. They are that fast, and they've already put together a brand new Flash design for you guys to pick up. It's on the chatsports.com/flash-shirt. That link will also be in the description and in the pinned comment of today's video. If you want to go pick up your brand new t-shirt, absolutely do so. It hugely supports the show, hugely supports what we do, and you're going to look awesome in this at SoFi Stadium this season, repping Flash Garrett, repping the Rams. It is an absolutely awesome design. I've got mine on express shipping right now. You guys are going to see this thing plenty on the show, I promise you. I think I'm going to get a blue one and a black one, so I can just kind of alternate them back and forth when the other one is in the wash, because I am obsessed with the Rams getting Flash Garrett, and I am obsessed with this design. My friends, I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to see y'all in them as well. Please tag me on social media when you pick one up. But let's get to the biggest key to Myles Garrett. No further ado on today's show, my friends. It's Ty Simpson. I know. It's Ty Simpson. The Rams picking Ty Simpson, 13th overall in the 2026 NFL Draft, is almost definitively the only reason you could have traded for Myles Garrett. The only reason that Les Snead and Sean McVay would have felt comfortable giving up what they gave up is because they made the much criticized, much controversial decision to draft their QB of the future, to draft their heir apparent in Ty Simpson. And for a lot of you, I know you're hearing me say this and you're going, what the hell are you talking about? That was a bad decision to draft Ty Simpson, and they could have had an even better defensive line. I saw this tweet yesterday from Frank, and I'm probably going to butcher his last name. I'm very, very sorry, Frank. Unwarranted, I believe it is. If I pronounce that incorrectly, I'm absolutely sorry. There's no intention for disrespect here. But he said, imagine the Rams did the right thing and took Ruben Bain Jr. They'd have an instant replacement for Jared Verse to go along with Myles Garrett. Instead, they have a backup quarterback, LMAO. Well, Frank, I got to say, we do have an instant replacement for Jared Verse. His name is Byron Young. If you're not going to discount Myles Garrett, which obviously he's replacing his impact, Byron Young is right there. Byron Young has been there the last couple seasons. Acting like Myles Garrett is rushing across from nobody is a joke and shows how unfamiliar you are with the Rams defense. That's what I would say right there. Byron Young is a double-digit sack guy. Acting like he just doesn't exist is kind of pure comedy. And we'll get to the point of why, if the Rams had not done what they did to draft Ty Simpson and had instead drafted Ruben Bain, trading for Garrett would have been impossible in just 1 second. But first, we've got to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Prize Picks. Guys, America's #1 sports picks app is Prize Picks. And if you are a regular viewer of the Rams Report, you absolutely know that. They are a regular supporter of our channel. And if you've never tried out Prize Picks, it is a great time to get started. A great time to do so because the NBA playoffs are underway. The baseball season is in full swing, and it is so easy to put together a lineup with Prize Picks, guys. All you have to do is pick from 2 to 6 players. You're selecting more or less on their stat projections, whether you're picking from points, assists, rebounds, hits, home runs, or strikeouts. They've got plenty of options from all your favorite sports. Plus, they also have awesome social features, guys. They allow you to easily tail or fade your friends or your favorite creators, including me. I'm Jackson Durham with no spaces. You guys can drop a follow. It's just my first and my last name. So you guys can see all of my latest lineups, including this one that I've got going for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We're going with more on the Brunson burner. We're going with more on Cat, and we are going with more on Stephon Castle. So you guys can tail me on this lineup. You can fade me on this lineup. Whatever you do, just do it with our friends over at Prize Picks. And if you're brand new to Prize Picks, make sure you use our promo code. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. The clickable link to download the app is in the comments and the description below. As always, thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Let's get back to our discussion of why this tweet is, I think, at best misguided. I think it fails to understand the thought process that allows you to trade for Myles Garrett, which fundamentally, if you draft Ruben Bain Jr., like I said right before we gave our shout out to Prize Picks, does not allow you to draft Ty Simpson. Because if you don't draft Ty, you still have an enormous problem. And that is, who's succeeding Matthew Stafford? If you win the Super Bowl in 2026, like you plan to do, if you traded for Myles Garrett anyway in 2026 without drafting Ty Simpson, and you won the Super Bowl, and Matthew Stafford told you, okay, I am done, at that point, was likely to do so, your alternatives would be this at this point. You would have 3 paths after winning the Super Bowl. Number 1 would be to draft a quarterback in 2027, but oh wait, we can't really do that anymore. We don't have our first-round pick in 2027. All of the best options are now out of our reach, and we don't have the firepower to trade up to get any of them because anybody trading down is going to want to keep a first in 2027. They'll get better offers than what we could offer, even if we were going to throw future capital on them, which, hey, you would have had to move off of a lot of that to go get your Myles Garrett at this point, just like we actually did in real life. Okay, option number 2, the one that Rams fans throw out a lot. Trade for Joe Burrow. Oh, wait, you can't really do it. You gave up too much trading for Myles Garrett. You now no longer have the capital needed to facilitate a secondary trade to go get a quarterback like Joe Burrow or just Joe Burrow himself. So now we're left with option number 3, pray. That's literally all you would have left is just pray that Matthew Stafford wants 3 rings. Pray that Matthew Stafford comes back for 1 more season because you do not have a backup plan. You did not have a fail-safe option if you gave up all of that capital to go get Myles Garrett. And then what? Ruben Bain's going to play quarterback? No. Ruben Bain is not going to play quarterback. Maybe you've got the best defensive line in NFL history. Sure, absolutely. But who's under center? At that point, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett is your starting quarterback in that reality. And I know some of you are excited about that, but you should not be. At the end of the day, the only reason the Rams felt comfortable giving up what they gave up to go get Myles Garrett is because they know that 2027 first-round pick is going to be the 32nd overall. And we don't need it. We have our guy. What we'd want in the first round of 2027, an heir apparent to Matthew Stafford, box checked. Mission accomplished. We have our guy in Ty Simpson. Organizationally, even if you personally don't agree with that, organizationally, that is the focus. That is the belief. You do not draft someone 13th overall if you do not believe that they are the future of your franchise. And that decision allows you to be more aggressive. Les told us this himself not too long ago. For my Rams Report real ones, This is something we talked about in depth when Les Snead made his McAfee appearance. This is the biggest quote that came out of that thing. When you have a QB who's in the twilight of his career, he says, a lot of times you want to save those early picks to ensure just in case Matthew decides I've had enough. But at the end of the day, when you're not sure when he might say it's over, you like to ensure some of those other picks in case you need to react versus proacting for your next quarterback. We can now maybe use those picks to add different players to chase special with Matthew, whether it's through the draft or doing what we did with Trent McDuffie and adding a veteran. Exactly that. That's why we talked so much about trade rumors on this show after the pick of Ty Simpson. That's why I said yesterday it has felt for so long like there was another shoe waiting to drop on the Rams offseason because of the pick of Ty Simpson. If you pick Ruben Bain, that doesn't happen. If you pick Ruben Bain, there is no other shoe waiting to drop. Ruben Bain was the shoe that dropped. If you can look at the 4D chess totality that Les Snead has played here, the whole plan, I think you can finally understand that drafting Ty Simpson was as win-now of a move as the Rams have ever made. I truly feel that that is the case because it is a move that acknowledges, hey, we've got a finite timeline here, and we don't want to plan for the future later. We want to take care of that now so we can be as aggressive with our future assets as we want to be. So we can know, hey, we'll be great now, but we'll also be great later. We will also be great later. I had a buddy tell me last night, it's awesome the Rams got Myles Garrett, but they mortgaged their future in doing so. And I laughed. I laughed when he said that because we didn't. We never have. The Rams have traded, if you include Jared Verse, now 10 consecutive years of first-round picks, and none of it has resulted in mortgaging their future. They plan too well. This is part of that. You cannot draft or cannot trade for Myles Garrett if you do not draft Ty Simpson. I think, is that picture becoming clear? How inseparable these two moves are. How inseparable these two decisions are. If you do not have your future of the franchise, if you do not have your guy who is going to lead this team after Matthew Stafford retires, you cannot be as aggressive with your future assets as the Rams were, and you cannot go get the 2025 Defensive Player of the Year. The NFL's reigning sack record holder, 23 sacks last season for Myles Garrett. A whopping 51 in the last 3 years of his career. 99.5 for the career. You can't go get him if you don't have Ty. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't work. The plan isn't there without Ty Simpson. I know some of you were listening when I said at the beginning of today's video that Ty Simpson is the biggest key to drafting or trading for Myles Garrett, and you probably laughed. The same way I laughed at my buddy when he said we mortgaged our future. But we've walked it out. And I think you got to admit, a lot going for it, right? It makes a lot of sense. It is, in my opinion, undeniable that Ty Simpson is the reason Les Snead felt comfortable doing this. Ty Simpson is the reason Sean McVay felt comfortable doing this. Guys, I know it wasn't a popular pick, but I think this trade is undeniably going to be an incredibly popular move. And I think when you look at the totality of it, you can't have one without the other. They are inseparable decisions. That's the last time I'm going to say it. I know I'm starting to repeat myself a little bit, but I really do feel very strongly about this. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree, and make sure that you are subscribed, because like I said earlier, this is far from our only video today. We're at least going to be making 2. I'm going to get a cap update for you guys later today, where we're going to dive a little bit more in depth on exactly how Myles Garrett changes the cap equation for the Rams over the next couple seasons and how Puka Nacua, Kobe Turner, Byron Young all fit into the math over the next few years, along with several other names. But we also may be covering the introductory press conference. I'm going to at least have a short out on that for you guys, as Myles Garrett is set to speak with Sean McVay and Les Snead after OTAs today. If there's enough out of that, we will absolutely do a VOD. We've always got you covered on Rams news, my friends. Make sure you are subscribed. We'll see you later today. And as always, let's go Rams.